Chapter 6.2, Aas Triangle Congruence. The Aas stands for angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. Aas. Capítulo 6.2, ángulo, ángulo, lado. Congruencia de triángulos. Okay? Ángulo, ángulo, lado. Alright, so this lesson is going to be short and easy, just like the previous ones. Okay, we've been learning these different triangle congruence theorems. We already did SAS and SSS and ASA. Okay, now we're at AAS, which is angle, angle, side. All right, so it says here, if two angles and a non-included side, that's very important. Hold on. If two angles and a non-included side of one triangle are congruent to the corresponding angles and non-included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Okay, so what this is saying is this. All right, let's say, I've already gone over similar theorems, but let me explain it like if you haven't been paying attention to anything, just in case there's anybody like that out there. Okay, let's say I'm trying to show that this triangle is congruent to this triangle. Congruent means that all the angles are equal. Let me say that again. Congruent means that all the corresponding angles are equal and all the corresponding sides are equal. All right? But the only thing I know is that this angle is equal to this angle. How do I know? Because of that one line that they both have. All right? This angle with the two lines is equal to this one over here with the two lines. And this side with the one line is equal to this side with the one line. Okay? So with just that information, notice that it doesn't tell me anything about side AC and side DF, or side AB and side DE, or angle B and angle E. It doesn't give me that information. But just with this information, I could confirm that yes, the two triangles are congruent based on the angle, angle, side congruence theorem, or AAS for short. All right, just based on that, I could confirm that the two triangles are congruent. Okay, the non-included side, that means that I have these two angles, but it's not the side in between them. It's a side that is not in between those two angles. That's what they mean by the non-included side. So I got two angles that are equal to the two corresponding angles in the other one, and a side that's not in between them is equal to the same corresponding side that's not in between these two angles in the other triangle. All right? Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. Let me repeat that in Spanish. En español, este teorema de este ángulo, ángulo, lado. ¿Ok? Así que como en los otros teoremas de congruencia de triángulos, si yo tengo dos triángulos y quiero comprobar que los dos triángulos son congruentes, ¿ok? Congruente quiere decir que los lados que corresponden son igual y los ángulos que corresponden también son igual. ¿Ok? Así que si yo quiero comprobar que los dos triángulos son congruentes y solamente me dan esta información, ¿ok? Solamente me están diciendo que este ángulo aquí mide igual que este ángulo. ¿Cómo yo sé eso? Porque los dos tienen una rayita. Esa rayita significa que este ángulo, ángulo A, mide igual que ángulo D. Aquí tenemos dos rayitas y eso significa que ángulo C mide igual que ángulo F, que también tiene dos rayitas. Y este lado, el lado BC, tiene una rayita aquí en el lado. Así que eso significa que este lado mide igual que este lado, lado EF, porque también tiene una rayita. ¿Ok? Fíjense que no nos dieron ninguna información del lado AC ni lado DF, ni del lado AB y lado DE, ni de ángulo B y ángulo E. Pero con solamente esta información, ya con eso puedo confirmar que los dos triángulos son congruentes por este teorema de ángulo, ángulo, lado. ¿Ok? En la teorema dice que si dos ángulos y un lado no incluido de un triángulo son congruentes de los ángulos correspondientes y del lado no incluido del otro triángulo, los dos triángulos tienen que ser congruentes. Esta parte es importante porque para que sea el teorema ángulo, ángulo, lado, tiene que ser dos ángulos y un lado que no está en el medio, que no cae en el medio de esos dos ángulos, para que sea ángulo, ángulo, lado. Si este lado estuviera en el medio, sería el teorema ángulo, lado, ángulo, que ya lo cubrimos en otra lección. Pero para que sea ángulo, ángulo, lado, tiene que ser un lado que no está incluido en el medio de esos dos ángulos. Just to say something in English that I think I forgot to say. All right, in order to be angle, angle, side, it has to be two angles and the side that's not in between them. If it would have been the side that's in between them, then it would have been angle, side, angle, which is a theorem that we already covered in a previous lesson. So again, if it would have been the side that's in between the two angles, it would have been angle, side, angle. All right, you could have confirmed them to be congruent with the angle, side, angle theorem. But if it's not in between them, it's the angle, angle, side theorem. All right, so here we got a bunch of examples. Let's look at them all, okay? Because you're going to have, these are easy and you're going to have stuff like this on your homework. All right? Vamos a mirar estos ejemplos que son fácil y que están en la tarea. All right, it says, decide whether you have enough information to determine that the triangles are congruent. If they are congruent, explain why. Tenemos que determinar si hay suficiente información para determinar si los triángulos son congruentes. Si dicen que sí son congruentes, tienen que explicar por qué. All right, so look at number one. In number one, I got, all right, this angle, angle A, equals angle D. Angle B is equal to angle E. Okay, and a non-included side, a side that's not in between those two angles, is congruent to the same non-included side on the other triangle. All right, so therefore, the two triangles are congruent, okay, because of AAS, because of the angle side, because of the angle side triangle congruence theorem. Okay, let me just say that in Spanish. Ángulo A es congruente a ángulo D, ángulo B a ángulo E, y el lado AC que no está que no queda en el medio de estos dos ángulos es congruente a este lado. Así que por eso sí son congruentes por ángulo, ángulo, lado. En español sería AAL, pero en inglés AAS. Ok, así que sí son congruentes. Déjame escribir sí. Yes. Yes, they are. Forgot to write that. All right, let's look at number two. En número dos. Notice that number two looks pretty similar to number one. Let's look at it closely. El 2 se parece al número 1, pero vamos a ver que es diferente. All right, so angle A is congruent to angle F. Angle B is congruent to angle E. And side AC is congruent to side DF. All right, now, I mean, it looks like they're congruent to me, but let me just double check to be sure. Let's look at the order of the letters so that we don't get confused, okay? Let's follow the order of the letters. Vamos a seguir la orden de las letras para no confundirnos. Triangle ABC, alphabetical order, ABC. All right, so it's going from the one line to the two line to the no line. And this is the side that they have in common. Now let's compare it to F. All right, this one's not in alphabetical order, but FED. Yeah, look, if you look at it this way, triangle ABC and triangle FED, if you go in that order, you'll see that it's the same thing. All right, if I start here, I got this angle with one line, then this angle with two lines, then this angle with no lines, and the side that's right here goes with this side. So yeah, it is congruent by AAS. All right, yes, also, it's congruent by AAS. Again, if it looks confusing to you, notice the order of the letters that I wrote here. If you look at it as triangle ABC compared to triangle FED, you'll see that they're exactly the same. Okay? Si se fijan en la orden de las letras, triángulo ABC y lo comparan empiecen con la letra F, triángulo FED, se van a dar cuenta que son exactamente igual. All right? All right, so, y sí son congruentes por ángulo, ángulo, lado. Angle, angle, side. All right, let's look at number 3. En número 3. All right, number 3. They wrote this one pretty small, but let's look at it. Okay, so angle C has one line, and angle E has one line. Okay, angle B has 2 lines here. It's hard to see, but angle B has 2 lines, and angle F has 2 lines. All right, now look at this. Look at this. Look at this here. The side in between them has one line, and the side in between these have one line. So yes, they are congruent, okay, by angle, side, angle. If you write AAS, that's going to be wrong, okay, because it's not AAS. When it's the side in between the 2 angles, it's angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. All right? Ok, así que si se fijan aquí, ángulo, lado, ángulo y ángulo, lado, ángulo. Así que sí son congruentes por ángulo, lado, ángulo. Si escriben que son congruentes por ángulo, ángulo, lado, lo van a coger mal, porque para que sea ángulo, ángulo, lado, tiene que ser el lado que no está entre los 2 ángulos. Si el lado que sí queda entre los 2 ángulos, tiene que ser ángulo, lado, ángulo. All right, let's look at number 4. Número 4. All right, number 4. All right, this angle equals this one. Okay, this angle right here equals this one. But look at the sides. Okay, they tell us they have one line here and they have one line here. All right, so fíjense en los lados. Aquí me dice que este lado y en el otro me dice un lado diferente. All right, so listen, on this one, the answer is going to be, I believe it's something like not enough information. Oh, yeah, because look up here. It says decide whether you have enough information. Decide whether you have enough information. Tenemos que decidir si tenemos suficiente información. So the answer is, I'll show it on the next slide. It's something like there's not enough information to determine whether they're congruent or not. Not enough information. Guys, give me 1 second. Somebody's knocking on my door, so I got to stop the video. All right, guys, so on number 4, there's not enough information to determine whether or not they're congruent. Let's look at number 5. In number 5, okay, we have angle, angle, all right, and this side that's not included is goes with this side. Okay, now, actually, let me point out something. These triangles could be a reflection. All right, they could be a reflection, one of the other. So let me just look at this carefully. Actually, no, actually, this is also no. I'm sorry. This is not enough information. This one's not enough information because it's not the same side. I almost messed up. That's why I paused to look at it carefully. All right, so we have this angle that goes with this angle, this side that goes with this side. But if you look in this triangle, okay, it's the side, this side is on the side of angle C, which only has one line, which would have to be this one. But instead, they have that one line on this side, which is not the same one. It's not the same side. It's not the corresponding side. So there's not enough information to determine whether the 2 triangles are congruent. They might be congruent, but we need more information. Okay? En estos 2 triángulos, este lado no es el lado que corresponde. Este lado corresponde a este lado aquí, el lado EF. Okay? Y nos están dando un lado diferente. Por eso la respuesta es que no hay suficiente información para determinar que los 2 triángulos son congruentes. All right, number 6. This is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees. This angle is equal to this angle, okay? And in both of them, the hypotenuse is congruent in both of them. So therefore, the 2 triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side, okay? En este los 2 triángulos son congruentes por ángulo, ángulo, lado, okay? Porque en los 2, este lado es la hipotenusa. Okay, now this one, let me just look at something here real quick. Yeah, this one is one where you got to think about it like a reflection. Okay, because if I rotate this triangle, there's no way I could put it to look like this one unless I do a reflection. All right? So, for example, if I reflect it like this, then it would match up. It would be easier to see. If I reflect it this way, then you could see that they're the same, a little easier. But the answer is yes. They're congruent because of angle, side. ¿Ok? Este triángulo se tiene que dar cuenta que se tiene que hacer una reflexión primero para que luzca igual que este triángulo aquí. Si hago la reflexión, entonces me doy cuenta que este ángulo va con este ángulo con y este lado, la hipotenusa con este lado. ¿Ok? Así que sí son congruentes por ángulo, lado. Alright, so there are the answers. Okay, now you're also going to have two proofs that you're going to have to do in your homework. Okay, van a tener dos pruebas que tienen que hacer en la tarea. Let's look at the first one. It says, complete the proof given that angle B is congruent to angle D. Angle B is congruent to angle D. And line AC bisects angle BCD. So line AC is bisecting angle BCD. All right, we got to prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ADC. All right, so te están dando la información que ángulo B es congruente a ángulo D y la línea AC está bisectando ángulo BCD. Y tenemos que comprobar que el triángulo ABC es congruente a triángulo ADC. All right, so when I've said in the past that they always, the first stuff that they put is given, but that's apparently not always true, all right? Most of the time, the first stuff that they put in a proof is the given information, but in this outline, they're not putting the given information first, okay? Casi siempre lo primero que ponen es la información que es given, pero en este problema no lo están poniendo al principio. All right, so the first thing they put is segment AC is congruent to segment AC. I've said it before, that comes up a lot. Whenever they put a segment is congruent to the same segment, the answer is always the reflexive property. Reflexive property. Siempre cuando escriben que un segmento es congruente al mismo segmento, la respuesta siempre es, o la razón siempre es, la propiedad reflexiva de congruencia. Reflexive property of congruence. I'm going to be honest. The reflexive property part I have memorized because that's easy. The of congruence part, I know it because I just saw the answer, all right? But the main thing to remember is the reflexive property. All right? Okay. So then line 2 is already filled out for you. La línea 2, ya tienen toda la información ahí. That's given. Okay, now look. Definition of angle bisector. You got to fill in this blank. Okay, what goes in line 3 for the statement is, if line AC is bisecting angle BCD, that means that this angle right here, this angle right here has to be congruent to this angle right here. Because if this is the angle bisector, that'll make this angle equal to this angle. So that's what I'm going to write in line 3 for my statement. Si la línea o el segmento AC está bisectando este ángulo, eso quiere decir que este ángulo aquí, ángulo ACD, tiene que ser congruente a ángulo ACB, que es lo que voy a escribir aquí. When I show the correct answer, I don't know if the order of the letters will be exactly the same, but it says basically the same thing. All right, now number 4, it says the reason is given. So I got to put since in number 2, for given, they put this part. Okay, that means in number 4, for given, I got to put the part that has not been included yet in the proof. Okay, como en el número 2 ya pusieron given para esta información que nos dieron. La otra información que es given, que es dado, tiene que ser ángulo B congruente a ángulo D, que es lo que voy a escribir aquí. And the last part, prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle ADC. What theorem are we going to put there? Is it going to be ASA triangle congruence theorem, or SAS, or SSS, or AAS? Well, we got angle, and this side that they both have in common. angle, angle, and this side that they both have in common. Plus, another clue is that this chapter is on the Aas Triangle Congruence Theorem. So that's another clue that you could use to figure out that it's probably going to be that. Okay, triangle congruence. All you got to remember is AAS. If you remember that, you're good. Okay, para la razón que tenemos que escribir que para explicar por qué triángulo ABC es congruente a triángulo ADC, ya comprobamos que tenemos ángulo, ángulo y este lado que los dos tienen en común, congruente en este triángulo, triángulo ADC, a ángulo, ángulo y este lado que tienen en común en triángulo ABC. Así que ángulo, ángulo, lado, ¿ok? Sería la razón. Y también pueden pensar, este capítulo se trata de ángulo, ángulo, lado, así que es bien probable que eso va a ser lo que quieren que se den cuenta, cómo se hace un problema donde es congruente por ángulo, ángulo, lado. Así que ángulo, ángulo, lado, el teorema de ángulo, ángulo, lado de congruencia de triángulos. All right, one more proof. There's the answer. Okay, nos falta uno más. All right, so write a 2-column proof or a paragraph proof given that segment AB is parallel. Remember, those signs, those two vertical lines means parallel. Okay, este signo quiere decir paralelo. Okay, so given that segment AB is parallel to segment DE, all right, so what they're telling you, oh, and by the way, these arrows mean parallel as well. Esta flecha significan paralelo también en el diagrama. Okay, pero cuando se escribe aquí se ponen las dos rayas verticales. All right, so when you're writing it here, it's two vertical lines means parallel, but on the diagram, the arrows mean parallel. All right, so if these two lines are parallel, all right, pretend I drew them perfectly parallel. Let me draw that. And all right, so here I got a transversal. We haven't used that word in a while probably, but here's a transversal going through two parallel lines. That means that this angle is going to equal this angle. Okay? Cuando tenemos un transversal cruzando dos líneas paralelas, que ya lo estudiamos, este ángulo tiene que ser congruente a este ángulo. They're alternate interior angles. So why did I draw that? Because I'm trying to draw what I want to show you here. This angle is going to be congruent to this angle right here. Okay? Lo que dibujé aquí es lo que está aquí, pero lo hice para que luzca más como lucía cuando estudiamos ya líneas paralelas y un transversal. Así que este ángulo tiene que medir igual que este ángulo, son congruentes. Okay, now let me use a different color. All right, this line right here, if I draw it like whatever, I'm going to draw it more or less. All right, I don't know if I'm making this look more confusing, but when you have, you know what, let me erase all that because it's getting too busy. And it didn't really look right. All right, so again, this line right here, okay, this is the same situation where you have two parallel lines and a transversal. So on this one, I just want to point out that you could also look at it that this angle has to be congruent to this angle. So if you look at the picture, that's this one is also congruent to this one. Okay, aquí tenemos la misma situación, pero usando esta línea aquí, la línea AE, porque tengo dos líneas paralelas y este es un transversal, así que lo mismo, este ángulo tiene que ser congruente a este ángulo. So this angle is congruent to this angle, and this one right here, let me put two lines. This one right here is congruent to this one right here. So that means, look, if you look at like where my little pen is, angle, side, because this side, that line means that this side is congruent to this side right here. So again, angle, side, angle, side. ángulo, ángulo, lado, ángulo, ángulo, lado. All right, so let me show you the answer. I wanted to show you that first, but let's look at the answer. This one's actually pretty short. At the beginning, they put the given information, which is right here. Al principio se pone la información que te dieron, que es lo que quiere decir given. Lo escribieron aquí. Okay, y on the second line, they put all the angles that I put that are equal to each other, or congruent to each other. Okay, en la segunda línea están escribiendo todos los ángulos que dije que son congruentes uno al otro por el teorema de ángulos alternos en el interior. Okay, alternate interior angles theorem, right, is what it's called. And then once you prove that, then the last step is just put that they're congruent because of AAS. Again, it's going to be multiple choice. So there's only going to be one answer that says AAS, angle, angle, side. So if you understand the angle, angle, side thing, there's only one answer that's going to say that. You don't really have to memorize the other part. The multiple choice will help you remember what the rest of it is, okay? Solamente va a haber una respuesta que dice ángulo, ángulo, lado. Okay, así que eso es la parte importante de recordarse. Ángulo, ángulo, lado. La parte de atrás te van a dar las diferentes opciones para la respuesta y van a entender cuál tiene que ser, porque es la única que dice ángulo, ángulo, lado. All right, and last thing I got to go over, this one's easy. It says there's more than one correct answer. All right, which theorem or postulate can be used to prove that the triangles are congruent? Select all that apply. So whenever you see select all that apply, that's a good, that usually means that there's more than one correct answer. Okay? Tenemos que escoger cuál teorema se puede usar para comprobar que los triángulos son congruentes. Seleccionar todo lo que aplican. Así que eso casi siempre quiere decir que hay más que una respuesta correcta. So let's look at one at a time and determine can we use that one, yes or no. Vamos a mirar cada respuesta una a la vez para determinar si se puede usar esa respuesta, sí o no. Alright, so ASA, angle, side, angle. Ángulo, lado, ángulo. Alright, so look right here. Angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. So yes. Okay, so this is correct. Este está correcto. All right, let's look at letter B, side angle side. Yeah, that one's also correct because look, we got this side with this angle and the side that they both have in common in the middle. And then in this triangle, it's this side with this angle and the side that they both have in common in the middle. Okay, así que sí, para la letra B es sí, porque tenemos este lado, este ángulo y el lado que los dos tienen en común, que está en el medio, con este lado, este ángulo y el lado que los dos tienen en común. All right, letter C, side, side, side. I'm laughing because I'm like, well, I may have to look at the answer on that one. Technically, they did not tell us. If how much this side measures. And I'm just wondering mathematically if these two sides are congruent, if it has to be congruent as well. I mean, yeah, it does, but let's hold off on that one. Let me look at the other answers here. All right, angle, angle, side. Angle, yeah. Angle, angle, side, yeah, for sure. Okay, angle, angle, side, yes, because look, angle. In order to be angle, angle, side, the side has to be a side that's not in between the angles. And yeah, you have this angle, and this side in the middle that is not included in between those two angles. Same thing here. This angle, and the side that they both have in common. If they both have it in common, it has to be the same for both. All right, so yeah, that one's correct. Okay, así que ángulo, lado sí está correcto porque tenemos este ángulo y este ángulo. Y el lado, para que sea ángulo, ángulo, lado, tiene que ser un lado que no está en el medio de estos dos ángulos. Así que ángulo, ángulo y el lado que los dos tienen en común, los dos triángulos, quiero decir. Y ángulo, ángulo y este lado. Para el lado, estaba pensando porque, ok, tienen este lado este lado aquí es congruente a este lado aquí y el lado que tienen en el medio, pero no nos dicen específicamente que este lado es congruente a este lado. Así que por esa razón, y también porque ya son 3 respuestas que están correctas, voy a decir que creo que la C tenemos que escribir que no. Ahora voy a poner la respuesta, right? So based on the fact that 3 out of 4 are already correct, and that they did not specifically tell us that the third side is congruent, I'm gonna say that letter C, you got to put no. Let me put the answers to make, yeah. So that's what the answer is, okay? So letter C is the only one that because they did not specify that the third side's the third side is congruent to the third side in this one, therefore you can't choose C, okay? Porque no específicamente dijeron que se puede, que el tercer lado es congruente al tercer lado en el otro triángulo. Por esa razón no escogieron la C, okay? All right, guys, so that's it for this lesson. Your homework assignment is in the student portal. It's 6.2, and it's due by 6 a.m. the next day that you have my class. Remember, you could do the assignment up to 10 times if you get a bad grade. If you get a bad grade, you could redo it to get a better grade, okay? La tarea está en el portal de estudiantes 6.2 y lo tienen que entregar antes de las 6 de la mañana del próximo día que tienen mi clase. Y recuerden que pueden hacer la tarea hasta 10 veces, así que si cogen un grado malo, lo pueden hacer otra vez para coger un grado mejor. All right, have a great day, guys.